all regional team.
Right now you're starting to see the three different types of fastballs from Harrison. And one of the things he's got to be able to do, and he's done it so far, he has to be able to throw the fastball on the third base side of home plate to the right-handed hitters as well. They can't just look out over the plate, and because those right-handed hitter will start looking out, even start moving up on the plate, getting tighter to it, and moving up, and they'll start trying to hit the ball's backside and the other way. He's got to be able to throw that ball and that cutter underneath the right-handed hitters, and he's been able to do it so far.
Would you go there in an 0-2 count or earlier in the count?
Well, I mean, it's 0-2. If you can do it, it's a waste going in.
There you go, swinging them. It's right there.
What I mean by waste, a waste pitch, not just wasting, you know. And again, if you can sneak the ball in there on those, and you'll see them kind of back up in their waist a little bit when they get underneath them like that. That just brings a whole nother side of the plate, and a lot of different options. That was a backdoor breaker. That thing started a pretty good pace off the plate and came roaring back.
Now Chris Stanfield, a 9-hole hitter. Fastball misses low. Did you find most pitchers had one side of the plate they were more adept at locating to?
Yeah, some people have more confidence going extension side. And you know, they'll carry the ball a little bit further. Right-handed pitchers, that's the first base side of home plate. Adds a little extra velo to it because they're carrying it further.
And a bouncer just past Rodriguez. That'll trickle down the left field line. Stanfield's dashing towards second. Farmer picks it up. It's going to be a 2-out double for Chris Stanfield, first base runner for LSU tonight.
Looked like a fastball. He gets barreled out in front of it. It is fastball right in the middle. Rodriguez just to the right of him, unable to come up with it on the dive. Just a good swing at a ball in the middle part of the plate.
And all of a sudden, one of the top hitters in the SEC by batting average, Derek Curiel, the reigning SEC Freshman of the Week, has a chance to drive in a run for LSU with just a base hit. And Texas will employ that shift, 3 men on the right side of the infield. Although I suppose Ethan Mendoza is really just stationed in shallow right, but
he is in shallow right. That is true. I'll tell you what, we're getting a chance to see two of the best freshmen in the screen right now at home plate and at third base for Texas as well. Those are two really talented young players for both of these programs, with Curiel and Rodriguez. And you know, the thing about Curiel for me is when you watch him hit, it's so simple. You get a good look at two of the best freshmen possibly in the country right now. But Curiel, it's so simple for him. And he sees the ball so long and so deep. A lot of young hitters will jump out towards the ball, open up too soon, spin off of breakers, but he just sits in there, takes his walks, gets great looks at it, and takes information from every pitch thrown.
The 2-1. And a bouncer, right side, playable for the Texas infield. That's Jalen Flores making the play. We go to the bottom of the third. Chris Stanfield left at second.
With True Green, we got.
You see it speaks for itself what he's done with the 3 strikeouts in a row, and then it's command, as we talked about at the beginning of the game. It's command of all 4 of his pitches, and you know the zones that he's trying to throw the ball in, the outer half, inner half. And then even at the top of the triangle with his 4-seamer at times. I mean, he's been able to execute all of them. But you can have his stuff, but you got to execute. And so far, he's been able to against what is a really good Texas lineup.
Now facing Will Gasparino. He didn't get a first pitch fastball, strike 1.
Well, and that's the other piece. His first pitch strikes have been, you know, to the hitters have been really good, and a mix of them. It hasn't just been fastballs. He's been able to run his secondaries in there. Breaker and his changeup on first pitches often.
Started his career at UC San Diego and then transferred to LSU this past summer. Also pitched in the Cape last summer for Katuitt, and then spent the majority of the summer with the Team USA Collegiate National Team. 2-1 here on Will Gasparino. They're considered a top 100 prospect for this upcoming draft. And Gasparino lifts one high in the air. Racing back is Pearson, and at the wall he'll make the catch. and nearly an identical spot as to where Max Ballou caught that fly ball from Jared Jones in the first.
Yeah, and you know, the wind's blowing from right to left, and it's just blowing straight out to left. And there's a little bit of wind traffic up there in right field. And that's two balls we've seen hit, caught right at the warning track that, you know, some other nights with the wind blowing out of the north, which pushes it to right, both of those balls had a chance to get out of here.
And a tough sun field out there in right as we approach quarter till 7 o'clock. Strike one on Tommy Farmer the fourth.
Well, those hitters want that shadow to be out past the pitcher. What they don't want is when it sits right over the mound. And you talking about hard at a 2:30, 3 o'clock game, you can see the shadows out towards third and second base now. But on those day games, that thing will, you know, start in front of them and then just ease it, and then it just sits right on the mound too.
Popped up left side and out of play. So what you're telling me, Ty, is that when they moved this game down to a 6 o'clock start, the hitters weren't too upset.
No, they weren't upset. No, they probably weren't too upset. No, now this time of year, it takes longer for that shadow to get there. Like if you start tomorrow's a 1 o'clock game, right? So it probably won't get there by tomorrow in the middle, at least the middle of the game. It won't be there. Maybe at the end.
0-2.
Although in typical baseball ex-coach fashion, I watched the weather last night. There's a 20% chance of rain and clouds to be involved. Just letting you know.
Well, I'm sure you're always checking it, but I got to imagine you're not nearly as affected by checking the forecast as you were when you were coaching.
No, every long-term Division I, and it doesn't matter what division coach you are a half-qualified weatherman as well, and you carry as minimum of 4 apps.
This Farmer goes down on the breaking ball. So that was my next question. What's your go-to app here, Ty?
Well, there's a bunch of them. You just look on one side of my phone, there's like 4 weather apps. And well, I tell you what, again, this was a breaker. Ison ran in there that time on Farmer. Wasn't able to foul it off or keep the at-bat alive, but that breaker covers a lot of distance.
Yeah, a lot of depth. Here's Ethan Mendoza. He flew out to center in his first at bat, and he chops one out to third. Braswell, sidearm sling, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Anthony Ianson. No score, 3 innings in the books from Dishfall.
Between pitches last night was unbelievable. I mean, it was an aggressive, give me the ball, I'm getting back up on the mound, let me get after it. Is it something that you and Coach Yeski work with? Is it something that you had as a high school pitcher coming here, or is that, it's just your pace?
Yeah, I think that's something that obviously Coach Yeski and I have kind of talked about, but also something Coach Johnson really kind of put on me as Jared destroys the ball. But, yeah, I think that the pace and the tempo that I have is kind of putting guys in an uncomfortable situation. So I think as a pitcher that you define a pitcher as changing speeds and putting guys on in an uncomfortable situation. So, yeah, continuing to kind of stand on my kind of rhythm. So,
uncomfortable situations. You did not look uncomfortable last night in front of the 7,000 fans that were here in a big Friday night game between 2 really traditional programs. I mean, your heart rate seemed to just fit right into the moment.
Yeah, I think that something that I got to be fortunate enough. I get to play at Alex Box every Friday, so it's something that the 7,000 is really nothing now. So obviously the experience has helped a lot, and that's sweet, man. But yeah, that's something I get to be fortunate to be a part of, and it's been big for me. And I think that Luke Holman has been one of those guys that kind of brought me along the way last year. And if you know anything about him, he's got the slowest heart rate you've ever seen. So it's something that has helped me out a lot.
All right, what we see here from Daniel Dickinson turning on the ball. Did you see some of that in the fall?
Yeah, sadly off of me as well, but I'm glad he's on our team now. So
it looked like a breaker running into him that he hooked down the line, and that's back-to-back 2 really good at-bats by Jones and Dickinson both.
A chance for LSU to get on the board here. Ethan Fry takes a first pitch strike. And you mentioned when Jared lined that ball up the middle, Cade, that he destroyed a baseball, which I'm assuming he's been doing since he's about 6 years old. But one thing that Coach Johnson has talked about with his approach is going the other way. He's really a much different hitter than he was the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. I think that he's been putting together a lot of good at-bats. And when you have that kind of presence in the box, it's scary for pitchers. So him to be in that situation where, I mean, not anyone that gets brought to the SEC is a good team. So excited to have them, but they're my enemy. So that's huge right there.
Stephen Milam doesn't have to take the bat off his shoulder, and that's 1 run on the board for LSU and 1 run for Cade Anderson with the headset on, man.
Cade, you know what it's like being a left-handed pitcher having to face this lineup in inter-squad games, and you know how difficult this must be, right?
Yeah, it's something that I've had to battle through, and they just put up such good at bats, and there's no easy piece of our lineup. Even you put in our second team, and it's just, man, there's no breaks. So I think that just goes to show, and Coach Johnson obviously does a really good job of the discipline. So, like, we don't swing at balls, and it's hard to get us out, man.
Strike count here on Josh Pearson.
Well, if you're Texas right now, you're back in the middle of your defense. You would like to try to see some type of ground ball, possibility, trade a run for a double play. And they're going to stay with Harrison here with a left-left matchup.
Cade, watching this offense every day has got to be a lot of fun, averaging over 10 runs per game. It's been pretty versatile, too, this year. They've been mixing in a lot of different bunts and squeeze plays and all of that. As Pearson strikes out 1 down.
Yeah, it's for a starter, it's so nice averaging 10 runs a game. I didn't even realize it was that high, but it just goes to show you, like, you just get to be relaxed, and there's never a stress. I feel like this team, we're always like, we feel like we're going to win every game, and that we never get to a spot where, like, we're a little shook. So it's just the depth of this team, and the confidence is a big piece that we've worked on, and team bonding and stuff like that. So it's been huge for the success, and we're a confident team that is eager to win every game.
Now Texas, you would see them with the ground ball, the possibility of double play. Third baseman now, ball going to go glove. If it goes glove side to him, he'll go to second base and try to turn the double play. Ball hit in front of him. He's going to see Flores have to probably go to third.
Got a run right there. It's huge.
Cade, I think you did. You called that perfectly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and Flores didn't have any choice. The ball was hit far enough to his right. His only play was going to be as he was moving towards third base. Rodriguez does a good job getting over to the bag and taking the throw for the force play.
Well, Cade, thanks so much for joining us, man. We got you a couple runs across, but we'll let you head back in the dugout. But thanks again for the time. Congrats on a great start last night. Look forward to your pitch next Friday.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate y'all's time.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.
So a couple runs come across for LSU, and now Michael Braswell at the plate.
If you don't think baseball players aren't, just going to stick with something that's working, but he's not moving. I'm not moving. We scored runs. We got to. I'm not moving. You guys think y'all may be trying to get me? I'm sticking around this thing. I mean, that's just the way baseball players are cut.
So is everybody in that dugout. They're going to ask what happened if he had hopped off the headset and they hadn't scored, right?
Well, yeah, they were like, "Are you going to just stay for the whole game, or did they ask you to stick around?"
But either way, LSU putting across a couple of runs. Michael Braswell enjoying that watermelon bubblegum. And a high chopper off the turf. Schuster reads it well. Flip to Harrison. And he's able to control the damage. Bases loaded, nobody out. LSU puts up a couple of runs. We go to the bottom of the fourth.
Second time through, right? So what is he going to, in his mind, he knows what you threw him the first time, right? You started him off with a changeup. Actually, it was 3 straight changeups. And so this is a part of the game that gets to be fun between the hitter and the pitcher.
Starts him off slow again. Blew 3 for 4 last night. Swing and a miss. And this is a matchup scouts will like, too, because these are 2 guys who are going to be drafted in a few months.
Well, scouts just like coming to this game, but they're going to draft this whole field in both these dugouts.
That's a good point.
I mean, both head coaches talk about how what they want is to develop programs that guys come here to be big league, to get an education. Yes, all the above, all the experience, 100%. But they're here also to become big leaguers.
And Curiel giving chase, and he makes the catch as he glides across the line. LSU bullpen likes that.
Well, it looked like he lost his shades and he kind of stumbled just ever so little bit, but athletic enough and awareness and intuitive enough. And he stays with it and makes the catch. But going back, we were just talking about, both these coaches, that's what they want. In order to win national championships, you got to have guys that you think are going to project out to be big leaguers, and then you got to go develop them.
Now Jalen Flores takes a pitch high, 1-0, and we caught up with LSU head coach Jay Johnson earlier, but what LSU's done in the draft the last couple of years, jumped off the page. Saw those numbers tied the SEC record for players drafted 2 years ago, and then tied the SEC record for pitchers drafted last year. And for LSU and Texas, each program had 4 alumni make their major league debut last year.
Well, both programs just keep pouring in the big leaguers, not just minor leaguers, but, big leaguers. I think we read a deal. Texas is at 150, 149 big leaguers throughout its historic program. LSU, I think, is at 87. My goodness, that just, and not just big leaguers, all-stars, MVPs, Cy Young. That's why I think when you talk about you could go in here and draft both these dugouts.
Yeah, this year's going to be no different either. Tons of talent in this league. Jalen Flores, Jr., he's draft eligible. Ianson already with 5 strikeouts. Comes the 1-2 to Flores. And looped over the head of Stephen Milam. And Jalen Flores strokes a liner for Texas, his first hit of the night. And look at the SEC's draft prospects here in 2025. Jace Laviolette at the top, of course. It just seems no matter where you go, almost every program's got somebody who is going to be one of those early picks. You see 3 of them here in our series tonight. We'll see Chase Shores tomorrow. Cade Anderson pitching last night.
Well, there's a lot to be said in that picture right there, the guys that you're seeing, and there's others that are going to be right on the heels of those that are draft eligible guys too in the SEC. And
bouncer, diving effort from both Braswell and Milam, but it trickles into left. Flores a big turnaround second, but he'll hold steady there. And there's Rylan Galvan again, right in the middle of it for Texas.
I'll tell you what, his bat is hot. He's seeing the ball so well. He takes this one, pulls this ball pull side, like a fastball running into him, just gets it in between in the 6-hole and the 5-hole, just out of the outreach of Braswell. And then, he's had the homers and the power part of it, but when he really likes to do, he loves to hit the ball back through the middle and the other way, and I think that's where the majority of his power is.
Mound visit here for LSU, and, this was the inning where Ianson ran into trouble in his last start. Got through 3 2/3. And Jay Johnson told us, before the series, at this point in the season, with the amount of depth they have in their bullpen, it's not necessary that they get 5 or 6 innings from every starter every day of the weekend. Not to mention, the last 2 games, they've used a total of 3 relievers.
Well, here's the difference in college baseball. If you've got a good starter and your bullpen is just so-so, and the reason why they're in the bullpen is because their stuff may not be as good. So when you go to the pen, you're bringing somebody into the game not as good. Well, in this situation, you're bringing in some quality guys coming out of that pen, so there's no hesitation if you feel like, hey, he's up to his pitch count, or maybe just his stuff isn't as good tonight.
Now Adrian Rodriguez. Swinging and a miss at the first pitch. Pitching a little backwards here with runners on base. Freshman from Flower Mound, Texas. He's had time at both DH and third base this year for the Longhorns. What have you seen from him as a hitter?
Man,
so
just
far?
exceptional hands. Eye-hand coordination's really good. Now he gets himself out there once in a while. I mean, that's part of being a youthful hitter. But my goodness, he's got dynamite in those hands. And when sometimes it's not how hard you hit it, it's where you hit it. We've seen back-to-back ground balls now find their way through the infield for the Longhorns, going all the way, coming in to score, but then Galvan going all the way to third base on the ground ball hit back up the middle. Now with less than two, it could be huge for. Now you got different ways to score with your runner at third with less than 2 outs.
And now Kimball Schuessler. His home plate umpire Dave Susi steps out from behind home plate. Gives the all clear. And for Anthony Ianson, I bet part of that mound visit, Ty, was saying just get another one of those ground balls, we'll turn two and get out of here.
Yeah, 100%.
And he did that.
Yeah, it's part of the game. I mean, it is part of the game. Ground balls get through. You'll hit hard, hard hit balls get hit right at guys. I mean, it's why there's 9 defenders. Every once in a while, I'll just tell people the game happened. Look, you got 9 defenders out there. You squared up a ball and the game happened. You hit right at a guy. Then every once in a while, you'll hit some balls not as hard. Now, that ball was still hit pretty hard, but you're not hit as hard, and they just find their way through.
Fastball at 93. First one was 92 on Schuster. Saw 94s and 96s there in the first inning. Might be able to reach back for that if he has a chance to punch out Schuster, I suppose. Head coach Jay Johnson looking on.
Well, we were just talking about getting a runner in and doesn't hit into a double play, gets a ground ball, a high hopper that goes straight down at home plate, allowing Galvan to score from third. We'll get another look. Schuster just beats this thing right down, makes the play, but in the meantime, you mentioned Galvan comes in and ties the game.
And now Jaquay Stewart, making just his second start of the season, struck out in his first at bat. After a called strike, and for the hitter who gets this opportunity, Ty, I bet he's feeling a little bit of pressure, wants to come through, and then he got the start.
Well, they want their opportunity. It's a good matchup. Right-handed pitcher, Breaker runs into him. And there's a lot that goes into coaches making that decision. He's had a good week of BP. He, had a pinch hit the other night where he got in and got a base hit. So there's a lot of things that start to feed into that. And you got to give guys at bats to keep them fresh too. That's just the way it is. They got to know that, hey, I'm going to get a chance to go get 2 or 3, 4 at bats in a game.
And a hard hit one hopper out to Braswell. His throw across will retire this side. But Texas scores 2 runs, 3 hits.